Welcome to Hoardganize with professional organizer Rachel Seavey. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., Rachel shares her expertise and compassionate approach to help you deal with overwhelming clutter. Rachel?
Hey, collectors! Welcome back to the Hoardganize Podcast. I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving break and that you're enjoying Thanksgiving weekend. I took a couple weeks off to just regroup. We are revamping the website, the social media, YouTube. Everything's getting a little bit of a makeover here at Hoardganize and Collector Care. So some really exciting things to celebrate. In January, it will be the anniversary of the 10th year that Collector Care has been in business. So I'm super excited to celebrate that. And I'll be keeping you more posted on how I am going to celebrate it. But today is a little less exciting. Today, on our 101st episode, we are going to talk about scheduling. And scheduling sounds like, maybe you have your to-do list or you have a calendar. But specifically, I'm talking about scheduling time to do your chores, to get organized, to clean your house. This is a conversation that I have with my clients all the time. So I definitely wanted to make a full episode about scheduling and just how important scheduling organization into your life is. Decluttering, it's really easy to say that you're going to go and clean up, tomorrow or next weekend or next week. Or what about the first of the year? That's a great one. A lot of people are waiting till the first of the year to get started on getting organized. But it's easy to give yourself that kind of excuse. It's easy to let yourself off the hook and say, well, I should do my laundry this weekend and end up binge watching something on Netflix. And, you're not alone. I mean, we all have really, really busy lives. I own a very busy company. I've got a wonderful son that's turning 12, and I have two small dogs that are complete. Let me see if they'll come here for you guys. But they're just a handful. I don't know if I've ever introduced you guys to Star. This one's Star. Say hi, Star. And this is Snap. He's being shy. But so we all have really busy lifestyles, and we all have things going on, and no one really wants to be cleaning up. So it's really important that you learn how to, if you're not naturally organized, which a lot of you aren't, and that's okay. That's really normal. So you're going to have to learn to schedule it into your busy lifestyle. Naturally organized people, we make things a must. We might let dishes sit for, the morning or after the meal, but, letting them sit overnight or all night or 2 days in a row is just not going to happen. We nip it at the bud. We're immediately squeezing somehow doing dishes into our busy schedule subconsciously. But for a person that's not naturally organized and not very good with time or time management, you might find it hard to actually make time to get organized because you might think you have time this weekend, but then you're, pet sitting or taking care of a sick relative or something of that nature, and then you end up not actually having time to get organized. So I find a lot of you are actually busy taking care of everyone else's needs over your own. So I really want you to start writing down what it is that you have time for. Literally look in your calendar, look on your schedule, whether you have an electronic calendar, which I do, whether you have a to-do list, whatever you need to gather the information on what is it that needs to get done. You need to identify what it is that needs to be done. And for most of us around the house, those are things like doing laundry, washing dishes, vacuuming, dusting, cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the kitchen, things of that nature. But if you're not used to doing chores, and you probably aren't if you're listening to this podcast, you're not sure what you even really have time for because you're not used to doing it. So I think a lot of us naturally organized people know kind of a rough estimate, like, oh, well, it'll just take me 5 minutes to load the dishwasher or 5 minutes to unload it. Like we have a realistic amount of time and, hey, I have to be at work. Is it possible for me to do that beforehand? No. Well, then it must get done after work, kind of a thing. So I use my iPhone. I have an Apple iPhone, and I use its scheduling tool. I just speak in and say, remind me to XYZ. It's not usually cleaning or organizing related because I just naturally schedule those things into my busy lifestyle. But for you guys, it would make a lot of sense to legitimately look at your calendar, see what you have time for. Write down the things that it is that you need to do. Is it laundry? How long is it going to take? Do you estimate to do your laundry? I mean, if you haven't done your laundry in months and you've got stacks and stacks, or you live in San Francisco and you have to walk, half a mile with your laundry basket just to get it done. I mean, be realistic. How long does it take you to do laundry? See, I'm lucky. I have my washer and dryer just right out in the garage. So whenever I need to do a load, I just grab it and it's very close. I know some of you that live in the city or some of you that are less mobile, it's not as easy. So really take some time. The first step would be to identify what it is that you really need to get done and be very specific. Don't just say, organize my house, because that's just a little bit vague. And then when you don't organize your whole house, you feel totally bad about it. And so you're going to also want to be really realistic about what you have time for. Don't just say, oh, this weekend. Say, no, from 9 to 10 this weekend, I'm going to specifically do one load of laundry. You have to become very specific to make sure that you're actually going to get these tasks done. Because when you're just vague and you're broad and you say like, oh, I'm going to organize my house this weekend, it's just not going to happen. I mean, you don't really have a plan. You haven't set time in your schedule to actually do it. So if you've got a bad back, then you might need to sit down a couple times while washing and drying your dishes. Just be incredibly specific. So first, you're going to identify what needs to get done in your home. You're going to want to be as specific as possible. You're going to want to write down next to that, how long do you think it's going to take you to do that chore? That way, when you pull up your calendar and you say, okay, I'm going to, do laundry this weekend, and say, well, hey, where do I have 3.5 hours? Do I have 3.5 hours, or is it more realistic that I only do half of my laundry this weekend and then half next weekend? I want you to look at it like it's a doctor's appointment, like it's something that you're scheduling, not just something that you hate to do. And then lastly, what I want you to do is take your calendar, whether you have, a daily calendar or a monthly calendar, an iPhone calendar, but go ahead and actually schedule the date and specific times of what you're specifically going to do. This is so helpful when that day and time comes around and your alarm goes off and you say, oh my gosh, what is it that I was supposed to do? And then you say, well, oh yeah, I was going to do my laundry on Sunday morning from 9 to 11 or whatever it is. So I want you to actually pull it up on your calendar once you've got what you need to do, how long you think it's going to take, and actually start scheduling these tasks into your busy lifestyle. If you see you have a scheduling conflict, be realistic. Is, watching your neighbor's cat more important than getting your life organized? Is going in an extra day at work and you never get any credit for it worth more important than your life being organized? Really start to prioritize and make organizing a must and not just a should. I mean, all of us should do our laundry. We should take out the trash and we should unload the dishwasher, but you've got to make it a must. You have to make it that's it. There's no bending of the rules. And that's something that I just posted on my Instagram page about, taking shoes off in the house a must, or making, not having any dishes in your sink a must. Whatever it is that's important to you, even if it's just a little start, you really have to think of it as something that you have to do. It's a doctor's appointment. It's a dentist appointment. You don't have to like it. And another fun tip that I have and things that I do on my iPhone, which I'll upload a screenshot to my YouTube video. But on things I don't like, or I don't want to say jobs because I do love all my jobs, but things I don't like to do, the dentist, I mean, she knows I hate her. Paying my bills, I have funny emojis, and they really, so on things that I need to remember that I don't like to do, I like to use, the eye roll emoji. That's one of my favorites. The poopy face emoji, the angry face with the you know uh air blowing out of his nose emoji. Have fun with it when you're doing your scheduling. If you're handwriting it, you can do an unhappy face. You don't have to want to love to do these things, but you have to make time for them in your life. I hope that makes some sense. And then my last tip about scheduling is, and it's a really obvious one, but you've actually got to show up. I mean, you don't want to hit snooze on your notifications. You don't want to overlook in your handwritten calendar that you were supposed to do your laundry today. I mean, you've got to take ownership of actually doing the work. I know a lot of us would rather be Netflixing or, doing whatever, but ultimately, if you want to live a clean and organized lifestyle where you can find things easily and be able to have people over and not have any shame about having people in your home, you have to show up and do the work. Unfortunately, I, can't wave some sort of magic wand. You can't just, snap your fingers and have your house clean. The final step is absolutely 100% showing up and doing the work. So if you don't like it, treat it like a doctor's appointment. No one likes to go get a checkup. No one likes going to the dentist. But you still go because you have to go. So that's kind of how you have to treat something that you don't like. You definitely have to show up, even if you don't like it. And, what you want to do, again, when you show up, is you want to be really kind to yourself. I know a lot of you show up and you have these huge, vague to-dos for the weekend. You're going to organize your whole house in one weekend. And then you show up and you don't know where to begin. And you might spend a day or two just kind of shuffling things from one side of the house to the other. And then you give up and you're really, really hard on yourself. And you expect, 20, 30, 40 years of clutter to just go away overnight or over a weekend or over a month or even over a year. I mean, this is years and years of accumulation that you have in your house. And so it's not going to just take a weekend of you doing laundry to get your entire house organized. So really show up, but show up as a friend for yourself. Show up, do the work, take pride in it. If you're only clearing off, a corner of your dining room table, at least you showed up, you scheduled it, you made the time, you got it done, you made it a must, you told other people you couldn't help them that day you were going to be organizing your house, and, you really were good to yourself. You didn't expect to get everything done in a day, and don't expect to get everything done in 1 year. There are people that take several years to get organized. I mean, it is a process. It's a lifestyle. It's a lot of changes. It's a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of unappreciated effort. But, at the end of the day, you don't have any shame regarding your home or your possessions or having people over. And it's really a free feeling to be organized. So I'll go over this list of tips on how to schedule organization into your life. Again, I know I kind of just dumped a bunch of stuff onto you. So the first step is to identify what it is that you need to get done and break it down into small, realistic projects, not just cleaning the kitchen, but maybe one day you'll spend cleaning the stove, one day you'll spend cleaning the refrigerator, maybe the following week you'll do the floors. I mean, be realistic, be specific when you write down these tasks. Step number 2, figure out how long it's going to take you to get these things done. Be realistic. If your laundry, like I said, is far away and you're not going to get it all done in one day, it might take you 5 days, then be realistic. Write down it's going to take 5 days for you to do your laundry, and then find 5 days coming up in the next month to do your laundry. And then the second step would be to, or I guess it's the third step, is to schedule it onto your phone, to actually go on your calendar or on your phone, use emojis, be fun, do it in different colors, do whatever you have to do to make it noticeable, make a notification about it, have it remind you 15 minutes before. Make sure that you schedule specific tasks, from 7 to 8 on Tuesday morning before you go to work, you're going to, put away your laundry that you did the night before. Be very specific. That way you set yourself up for success. Lastly, you need to show up and actually do the work. You can't keep hitting snooze. You can't procrastinate, because if you continue like this, my dear collectors, where you're at now is where you're going to be, in 5 years, in 10 years, when you're older. I mean, the more you procrastinate getting organized, the more clutter you'll have, the older you'll get. 5 years down the road, you're just going to have more stuff. You're going to have more shame. So you really have to take action and show up and do the work that you've scheduled yourself to do. And then be kind to yourself. Always be kind to yourself. Trade in your expectation for appreciation. Instead of expecting yourself to get it all done in one day, appreciate yourself for actually showing up, for actually doing your best to do whatever it was that you did on your list, on your scheduling. So I really enjoyed this year, this season with you. I am going to be taking some time to revamp the entire podcast. It's going to be a little bit different after January, but still going to have a lot of content in it. I've gotten some requests. I have some really cool guests coming up. We're going to be talking about genealogy. We're going to be talking about ADHD. I've got a really dynamic lineup coming up. And for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, I love your comments. Thank you so much for leaving them. Make sure that you click the thumbs up button, you hit the notification bell, you do the subscription and all that good stuff. And make sure that you're following me on Instagram, because I've had a lot of fun on Instagram lately. I've been doing some before and after work. I've got lots of videos and lots of content there too. So that's under Collector Care 1 on Instagram. Until next time, collectors, and remember, happiness is a place between too little and too much.
This has been Hoardganize with Rachel Seavey. New episodes are available every Sunday at 6 p.m. and also on the Collector Care YouTube channel. Download Rachel's Affirmations for Collectors on iTunes or Amazon.com, or sign up for Rachel's blog at collectorcare.com and receive 7 tips for clutter-free living. Thanks for listening.